I've been to Rhyolite, Nevada more times than just about any other ghost town. Maybe Goldfield is right there also. Going through my archives, I found images going back about 9 years. I've photographed it in all the seasons from spring when the vegetation was green to an actual blizzard. It's probably the most photographed ghost town in Nevada because of its location and the ease of access to it. It's just only a few miles from Death Valley. Rhyolite began in 1906 after gold was found nearby. And it quickly grew into a large town with electricity, had 3 water systems, 19 lodging houses, 18 grocery stores, over 50 saloons, a stock exchange, 3 newspapers, an opera house and symphony, police and fire department, telephone and telegraph office, 2 hospitals with 8 doctors and 2 dentists. Had 3 railroad companies that serviced the area. They had baseball teams, tennis courts, and swimming pools. But as the mines played out, the town really started to decline. All 3 banks closed by March 1910, and the last train left the Rhyolite station in July 1914, and the electricity was actually removed in 1916. The only structure that's been restored is the bottle house. Since there was no trees nearby other than Joshua trees, which really don't make very good building material, much of the buildings were made of rock and cement. An old miner by the name of Tom Kelly decided that empty beer bottles could well be used to form a house. So he collected 50,000 bottles in less than 6 months, and that was enough to build a 3-room house with plastered walls. One of my favorite places up there is the old jail. It was built in 1907, and the jail was a reinforced concrete building that contained 4 cells and had a courtroom and jailer's quarters. Had to be pretty small. And on one recent trip we were up there, we were able to photograph it in the fog, which really gave it a different look.
The tears on your face, the sight of you walking away, and the memories drop and ring like bombs in my head. And I don't know if I could have done more, and I don't know if it was my fault or yours. So I'm still fighting after the war.
This is the old Porter Brothers General Store, and it was built in 1906 and then closed in 1910.
Catch a plane before sunset, kneel down and say come back. Say baby I was wrong, I need you home. But I don't know if I love you anymore. I don't know if I loved you before.
The Cook Bank is probably the most iconic building in Rhyolite, and it's one of the most photographed ruins in Nevada. Built in 1907 and closed in 1910. It was built of poured concrete and was 3 stories, had a basement which housed the post office. The interior was finished with marble staircases and had mahogany accents. But after its closure, the owner of the building, John Cook, sold off all the fixtures. It's amazing that this town grew into such a large town, only to basically be abandoned in a few years. I'm sure that when they built these large buildings that they had no idea that the town would only be viable for a few more years.
Home, 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 just a little taste of home. I need a little taste of home, home, home. I need a little taste of home. Nothing like kitchen conversation, steam coming up off the stove, my father used to sing to me. Sweet words of
This is the Overbury Bank building. It was completed in 1907. It was a three-story general-purpose building that housed a bank, a jewelry store, a dentist, and attorney's offices. The building was abandoned in 1910, and much of it was dismantled by 1924. As many other abandoned towns, its buildings became the source of the building materials for surrounding camps.
And my heart can't give you praise. It doesn't care to even sing.
You can see the remains of the vault.
I still believe that you're bigger than all these things. When I can't find what to say, somehow you know that you love me the same.
This is a picture of me with my black lab, Jack, who traveled with me a lot on my trips before crossing the Rainbow Bridge several years ago. Boy, I miss that dog. The depot was built in 1907 and was constructed of concrete block with a solid concrete foundation, and the architecture was of the Mission Revival style. The railroad depot was completed in June 1908, just about the same time that Rhyolite began its slow decline. Within months of its completion, more people were leaving Rhyolite to the depot than were arriving. In the 1920s, Rhyolite had a small revival through tourism, and in 1937 it became a casino, with gaming conducted downstairs and ladies of the night working upstairs. The start of World War II drained the economy, and the casino closed, and it was actually used as a museum and a gift shop into the 60s.
Jesus, are you even real? Sometimes I pray, but I still can't feel the peace that you claim you would give when we had a hard day. No, I really shouldn't ask.
This is the old schoolhouse, which was built in 1909, but closed in 1911. It was built using concrete blocks and poured concrete walls.
But do you record all my bads? Will they put me in hell? Or is that a myth that the preachers sell? I still believe you're bigger than my unbelief. When I don't know what to say, somehow you know that you love me the same. Somehow you know that you love me the same. Somehow you know that you love me. Jesus, I'll keep trusting you.
This past winter, Russ and I left Vegas early one morning to get to Rhyolite just before dawn, with the hope that the weather report was correct and we'd be able to photograph Rhyolite with snow on the ground. But when we arrived, we were greeted with high winds, rain, and fog. We walked around and we were able to get some different shots with the fog, which was kind of cool. But then we decided to go back to Beatty, which is just 10 minutes away, and grab some coffee and hope that the weather would continue to drop and we'll get the snow we wanted. Sure enough, it began to snow and we headed back to Rhyolite in blizzard conditions. I never got out of my Jeep as the wind was driving the wind into our lenses. I had to shoot with my window down and constantly cleaning the snow off my lens, but it was worth it.
Now my man is gone, and I know I've been so wrong. Now he's on his way, and I know it was over anyway, and I know it was over anyway.
Now I'm all alone, and I know I'm far from home.
Right outside of Rhyolite exists the Goldwell Open Air Museum, which displays several large outdoor sculptures by Belgian artists and made even more mystical in the fog.
Now I'm on my way, and I know